This tutorial will cover questions that involve fractions with units and fractions without units. I will proceed based on the assumption that you have already watched my previous video which covers how to differentiate these two types of fractions conceptually. If you have not, please watch the video first before continuing with this video. In the previous video, I covered some questions that involved fractions with units and fractions without units. This is a continuation of that video. Tom has some sugar. He uses 1/6 of the sugar for a cake. He used another 1/3 of the sugar for a muffin. He had 3/4 kg of sugar left. How much sugar did he have at first? Using the reframing method, write groups above fractions without units and quantity above those with units. You know the grouping for the sugar he used for the cake and the grouping that he used for the muffin. For the cake, he uses 1 out of a total of 6 groups, and for the muffins, he uses 1 out of a total of 3 groups. However, the total here should be referring to the same total, which is the amount of sugar he had at first. This means that the 3 groups are of a different size than the 6 groups here. So to allow us to compare these groups, let's make them the same size. We can see that he used 1 group for the cake and 2 groups for the muffins. This means that he had 3 groups left, which is 3/4 kg. Find 1 group by dividing by 3 and then multiply by 6 to find 6 groups. Using the replacement method, replace all the fractions that have units with numbers. Let's replace 3/4 kg with 6 kg. Read the question again with the new number. Tom has some sugar. He uses 1/6 of the sugar for a cake. He used another 1/3 of the sugar for a muffin. He had 6 kg of sugar left. How much sugar did he have at first? So it might occur to you that you need to make the denominator the same here, since the total is referring to the same thing, which is the amount of sugar he had at first. Then you can find the fraction that he had left. Since this 3/6 of the flour he had at first is 6 kg, you can find 1/6 and then 6/6. Now that we have the method, change the numbers back to fractions and solve. You might find this next question a little harder. Tom had a container full of water. He accidentally spilled half of the water in the container. He then used 4/7 of the remaining to water the plants and had 5/7 liters of water left. How much water did he spill? If we use the replacement method, we can replace 5/7 liters with 4 liters. If we use the reframing method, we will write groups above half and 4/7 and quantity above 5/7 liters. I'll solve this using the model method. You can also solve this using the branching method, but I won't demonstrate that here. Tom spilled half of the water in a container, so we can represent this with a model like so. He has 2 units in total and spills 1 unit. He then used 4/7 of the remaining water, so we can divide the remaining into 7 parts and shade 4. I use parts here instead of units to differentiate them, since the size of 1 unit is not the same as 1 part. Tom had 5/7 liters of water left, which is a quantity, like 4 liters. So we represent it this way in the model, like how we would if it were a number. So we would normally write 3 parts is 4 liters, find 1 part, find the total remainder which is 7 parts. Then, since we know 7 parts is the same as 1 unit, we will have the answer for how much he spilled. So if we replace the 4 liters, we can just use the same method to figure out our answer. Tom had a container full of water. He accidentally spilled 1/5 liter of the container. He then used 1/4 liters of the remaining water to water the plants and was left with 1/8 of the water which had not been spilled. How much water did he have at first? If we use the replacement method, we can replace 1/5 liters with 5 liters and 1/4 liters with 3 liters. If we use the reframing method, we write quantity above 1/5 liters and 1/4 liters and groups above 1/8. Again, I'll solve this using the model method, although you can also represent the information using branching. Tom accidentally spilled 5 liters and then used 3 liters. He was then left with 1/8 of the water which he did not spill. So since he spilled 5 liters, then this part of the model represents what he did not spill. He was left with 1/8 of this. This means that 7 units must be 3 liters. We can find 1 unit and then 8 units, which is the amount of water which he did not spill. From there, we can just add back the amount of water he spilled. Replacing the original values, we can use the same method to get the answer. Understanding how to solve this question is not nearly enough. You need a lot of practice. It's just common sense. It might seem like a hard question now, but practice it enough times and you'll be able to solve it with your eyes closed. But where are you gonna get enough examples to practice? Spiderweb Math is a website that I've created for my students which regenerates the same questions over and over again, and is automatically marked. This way, you can just focus on getting the repetitions in. If you found this video useful, do consider subscribing to this channel and liking this video.